Sometimes they may be financially not sound enough to enter or venture into a competitive market. The company will be giving a very poor performance in part of sales, and the sales will be down here and the profits are also becoming very less. Liquidation can be done in the following ways. One is voluntary winding up, second is compulsory winding up under supervision of the court, and third is voluntary winding up under supervision of the court. Combination means the stability, growth and retreatment strategies is adopted by any organization. Hello and welcome to you all dear students. Hi George Uleme, Commerce Faculty, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. Dear students, today I am going to welcome you all to the session 7 of Unit 1, that is of Business Policy. Students, in the last session or in the last class I was explaining to you about the corporate strategies. In that I explained to you about the growth or the expansion and the other related topics under this particular growth or expansion. So we saw different kinds of expansion, that is like diversification, like conglomerate diversification, concept diversification, vertical, horizontal integrations, right? I'm giving a just glance about that particular sessions. Now continuing with that, in the corporate strategies, students, we have the second one after growth or expansion. As I told you, we have the growth strategy. After growth, we have the stability strategies, then retrenchment strategies, as well as we have the combination strategies. So all these three we will be covering under this particular session 7. So let us understand the second type of corporate strategies, which is of stability. I told you stability means stable. Stability means stable. Here the company or the organization, they try to be stable or maintain stability in the product or the product lines or in the industry. They are not going to do any kind of expansion. No expansion work or no kind of any kind of activities will not be undertaken under this particular strategy. So here they are going to penetrate into the market and just stable themselves before entering into a competitive market, because they may be feeling that they are not still at a mature position to enter into a competitive market. So in that case, they first need to land and maintain their stability. So that is what we have the strategy called as stability strategies under corporate strategy. So here, as I told you, the corporation or any organization, they may choose the stability. What is the stability? That is the overgrowth by continuing its current activities. They are going to not disturb any of the current activities. So they will be maintaining the same current level of activities, that is without any kind of changes in the direction or in the move. So they are not going to continue, they are not going to expand, or they are not going to think about or plan about how to expand here. So they are just concentrating on the existing line of the business or the activities which they are already doing it, right? So sometimes it says lack of strategy, because due to lack of strategy or due to lack of directions or the decisions, the stability family of corporate strategies can be appropriate for a successful corporation which is cooperating reasonably predictable environment. So here sometimes when they are not able to take a proper decision, right, under that particular business environment, so and they may not be able to cope up with the technologies, or they may not be able to design a new product. Sometimes they may be financially not sound enough to enter or venture into a competitive market. So like this, there are so many things or the elements or the strategies or factors we say where they will not be able to venture out. So in that case, they try to maintain the stability with the same activities which they are already doing it. So second one is the pause or the proceed with caution strategy. Pause or proceed means first is pause. What do you mean by pause? Pause means stop. You are stopping for that moment. You are not going to do anything, right? Proceed with caution. Later on, after pause, you say it may be pause or you are going to move, but with caution. With caution, very, very important. So here, as the time is rolling out, as you see, the time is rolling out, the opportunity to rest, there is an opportunity to rest as well as before continuing the growth or retrenchment strategy. It says it is a very deliberate attempt. So before entering into a growth strategy, or before getting into that growth or expansion strategy, or if you're thinking about expansion or growth strategy, or if you're thinking about retreatment strategies, that is to sell out or disinvestment or to come out or remove the product from the market. So before that, there is a time where it says to rest for some time. So you need to take a rest for some time. That's what we say, pause, right? So here it makes only incremental improvements until a particular environment situation changes. So here you are not going to take any kind of drastic decisions or very important decisions. So here you are just maintaining your stability, and you see that you are just making little bit of changes inside only, internally only, and till that particular business environment is acceptable on part of you. And it says it is a typical convince as temporary strategy. This strategy is not for a longer period of time. It is only for a shorter period of time. Sometimes students, I tell you, in your life also, this kind of things happens or it arises. So in your life, there may be a pause. You need to give a pause, right? Or you need to take a move with a very cautious manner. So in everyone's life, it happens, not only in the business, but in everyone's life, it happens. Sometimes you may be so well doing, so all the activities may be so nice, but suddenly you need to stop, you need to pause, right? So you need to take rest, thinking about how to improve yourself, how to develop, how to see that there is a growth in your career, or how to come out, whether to give up that particular challenge or not. So there is a time, the rest time, we say to pause, wait for some time. But that period, that is that situation where you are going to pause or where you are going to take a cautious move with a little movement, so that is not a permanent one. It will fade away. So like in everyone's life, there will be some time, a time of pause or time to rest. Then instead of taking the decisions, that is whether to move forward or to move backward. The same way, here also in business, we see there is a pause or to proceed with caution strategy. So the decision has to be taken to take rest, that is to pause, as well as to proceed with the caution, right? So the business activities has to be very, very careful here. So this particular typical strategy, it says it is a temporary strategy which is used only until the environment becomes hospitable, or it says it enables the company to consolidate all its activities or the resources after the prolonged rapid growth. So it is not a permanent one. That particular situation, business environment will not be the permanent one. So it will be there for it will be there for some time, we say. So later on, then again you can cope up with all the resources which you have, and you can start and have a rapid growth. Under this same, that is under the stability strategy, we have the third one that we call as no change strategy. No change. That means you are not going to make any kind of changes. So it is a decision of doing nothing new. You are not going to do anything new. You are not going to do any kind of new activities or undertake any kind of new activities, but instead of that, it is a choice to continue the current operation. So it is a better choice for the organization of the firm to continue with whatever the current operation and the policies you are going to do with, right? For the foreseeable future until the situation is calm or it is normal. So here it says this is definite strategy where no change strategies success depends upon the lack of significant change in the corporation's situation. Now this particular relative stability, the relative stability is created by firm's more modest competitive position in industry, which is facing lot of competition and little of no growth, and that will encourage the company to continue its own current position. So this relative stability, the relative stability, it is created by the same firm and the modest competition position. It is been created by the firm's modest competitive position, right? And the industry where it is facing little of no growth, there is of no growth under this kind of stability. and it encourages what? The company to just continue on the same current line or current position. So only making a few kind of adjustments that, and you can find little bit of sales as well as the profit objectives, and there is no obvious to increase your sales, not to increase your profit, because you need to see that opportunities or threats will be there, and you need to understand that opportunities and the threats as well as what are the strength and what are the weakness of your organization. All this taken into consideration, you need to move about. So few aggressive new competitors are likely to enter into new industries or in an industries. Now coming to the profit strategy. What do you mean by profit strategy? It says a decision to do nothing in the new in worsening situation, but instead to act through the company's problems are only temporary. So here you are not going to do anything, as I told you. Here also it is a decision where to do nothing new, nothing to be done. Any kind of new activities will not be undertaken under this particular strategy called as profit strategy. So here instead to act as, but instead what you are going to do? So you are not going to do anything, right? In the worsening situation, this is the worst situation where I told you where you will not be able to do anything because everything is not according to your time. So you have to rest. So under this condition, instead what you can do is, instead of act, the company's problems are only temporary. So here you need to think that all these problems which are arising in the company are just only for the shorter period of time, and it will not be a permanent one. It is only a temporary one. So this profit strategy is an attempt. It is making an attempt to artificially support the profits when a company's sales as well as are declining by reducing investment and short-term discretionary expenditures. So how you are going to earn profit under this condition? So here the company has to make a decision regarding some kind of profit or some margin of profit has to be earned. For that, what they are going to do? They are going to see that when companies sales are declining, when sales declines, automatically there will be no profit. So instead of see that there is no profit, at least some marginal profit to be earned. For that, what they do? They need to reduce the investment. So they need to reduce the investment on that particular activities or function which you are already doing. Instead of putting lot of money and getting no profit, it is of waste. So reducing the investment part as well as short-term discretionary expenditures. And you have to think about what are the short-term expenditures which are there that should be reduced. All the unwanted expenditures to be reduced. So see that minimizing your expenditures and maximizing your profit. That is what the strategy of profit strategy here. So here it says it rather is announcing the company's poor position to shareholders instead of informing that this is your performance, the poor performance of the organization to the shareholders or stockholders and the investment community at large and those who are investing into your company. So you need to always be informing about your company's performance. What is your company performance? Whether it is on the profit or a loss, whether it is income or a gain, all this you need to be explaining to them, to the shareholders as well as to the stockholders and the investment people. So here the top management, what they do, they try to attempt to follow this very seductive strategy that is known as the profit strategy, seeing that reducing the investment and thereby reducing the unwanted expenditures. So that is about the stability. Now coming to the retreatment strategies. Retreatment means it is whether to sell out, disinvest or remove the product from the market itself. This is the time where the company or the organization is at a decline stage, right? So whether during this decline stage, whether you need to merge with other companies or acquire the other companies, all this decision has to be taken, take in consideration the following positions of the company. So here under this particular retreatment strategies, it says the company or the organization may try to take this or may take the decision for retreatment when it has a weak competition position. When the company is going to undertake this kind of strategies or the decisions, that is about retreatment, that is only when the company is under weak position and in some or all product lines. It may be in some of the product lines, or it may be in all the product lines which the company is having, right? And that will be resulting in poor performance. The company will be giving a very poor performance in part of sales, and the sales will be down here, and the profits are also becoming very less, and there will be more losses. So this strategies will impose a very importance on part of the company to take a decision regarding your company or the business. So here it deals with the pressure to improve the performance. So this retreatment strategies will help the companies to see that how to improve your company when you are under loss, when the profit is not there, when it's becoming more loss, and when there is no sales, and you try to see that whether because of poor performance there is no sales and no profit, more losses. So how to cope up with this situation? What are the decisions or the strategies has to be taken for improvement of the business? Now under this retreatment strategies, first one we see the turnaround strategy. What is this turnaround? It says the improvement of operational efficiency, and is probably most appropriate when a company's or the corporation problems are pervasive but not critical. So this is a stage where under retreatment strategy, the company or the corporations, what they do, or the firm, they try to improve the operational efficiency. They try to improve the operating efficiency, or they start working on the more efficiently and more effectively in order to see that to come up from this particular strategy called as retreatment strategy when the company is under loss or when the company's sales is not there, right? So when the company's problems are not pervasive but not yet critical. So here it is not so weak, or it is not in a very low position, but it is declining. It is in a decline stage. So at that time, it is not fully critical. So we said it's not fully critical. So when it is not fully critical, then automatically the company can think about its performance in the field of operation, that is more effectively and more efficiently taking up the activities. So analogous to the weight reduction diet, two basic phases are around, that is contraction and consolidation. So here under this particular turnaround strategy, we can see two important phases, that is of contraction and consolidation, which will be very much helpful for bringing up the company which is going under decline. Now what is the contraction? It is a initial effort or the basic effort of an organization or the firm, that is to quickly stop the bleeding. So if there is a bleeding, if there is a wound and if it is bleeding, so what is the first and foremost attempt, the first stage you are going to do? That is, you try to quickly stop the bleeding. So that is what it is happening here also under this retreatment strategies, where it says contraction means the initial efforts or the basic requirement of a business or a company to try to see that to stop the bleeding of the company. That means try to stop which is going decline, try to stop the losses, or try to stop where there is no sales, right? So how they are going to do that? With general across the cutback of size and cost, they are going to see that to stop this losses or to stop where there is no sales or where the company is in a declining stage, to give an end to the decline, the company has to think about or take a decision regarding the cutback in size as well as the cost. So they need to see that whether you need to cut back your size of the organization or the company or the product lines, or to reduce as well as to reduce the cost of that particular products. Now secondly is consolidation. Under this it says implements of programs to stabilize. So under this consolidation it says the company or the organization, it tries to stabilize its activities when the company is under the decline stage, when it is going on a decline stage. Here this method is also very much important on part of organization or companies, because it tries to implement various programs, right? It tries to implement various plans or the strategies or decisions will be taken in order to stabilize the now learner corporation. So they want to see that somehow you need to come back and stabilize your organization. So in this case what they do, the company will plan out and develop or reduce all the unnecessary activities or the overheads and make functional activities cost justified. Instead of doing so many activities, the company will try to bring down all those activities, cut down all the unwanted costs, and think about only the activities which are very much important, the functional activities which are very important, right? And here also the cost of that particular operation should be justified, or it should be less. So this is a crucial time. This particular retreatment is a crucial time because it says the organization, if you are consolidating, if you are in a consolidated phase or the stage, right, it is not conducted in a positive manner, because it says many of the best people leave the organization. During this time only, when the company is at the decline stage or the verge of decline or the verge of disinvestment, or we say liquidation, right, or turnaround, then that is a stage where the people who are working in the organization, they will leave the organization. When people are not there to work, then how we are going to consolidate your activities? It is not possible. So you need to see that you need to keep your people under your control. So all the ships should be under your control, and see that you motivate them, and also see that give better plans to them so that they can also work together, and only then you can see that this particular condition can become a normal condition and there can be a stability and growth in the organization. Third is the captive strategy. Captive means, it says, giving up the independence in exchange of security. You are giving up your independence, your freedom, right? That is in exchange for security. The company with a weak competition, when a company, when it is not able to compete with the other competitors, right, when it's becoming weak and its competition position is very weak, and it may not be able to engage in a full-blown turn-up strategy. So here, when the company is very weak position, in that case, the company will not be able to do any kind of activities. That is, it may not take also the turnaround strategies also will not be possible under this. So here, the industry may not be sufficiently attractive. The industry or the corporations or the companies, they will not be so attractive to an outsider, because it says effort from either the current management or from the investors. In order to justify that, there is not a very good sufficient attractive industry, because it says the effort from either the current management or the investors will not be good, or it will not be the same. So here the company in this situation has to face the poor crisis. They have to undergo to the poor crisis, that is less sales or poor sales, we say, and increasing the losses unless it takes some action. So under this condition, here already you are giving independence, because in exchange for a security. So here the management also, the investors also, they will not be able to do anything, and you cannot expect anything from them, and thereby the company will be in a situation where lot of poor sales as well as loss of increasing in losses for the company happens, and you need to see that the company had to take some action in order to survive that particular industry or the organization. So the management will desperately has to undertake, or it has to undergo through some decisions or the plans, or some action has to be taken in order to improve, or in order to bring up that particular organization or the company which is under loss, where there is no profits, no sales, which is lot of losses are there. So how they are going to bring it up? So they search for an angel. So when you are in a trouble, you think of somebody or the God or angel to send, God to send an angel so that you will be protected, right? The same way here also the management desperately, they will be searching an angel. Who will be an angel who can come and protect us, who can come and protect a company, who can protect and bring up from the losses, right? So offering to be captive company to one of the largest customers in order to guarantee the company or continued existence with long-term contract. So you will be waiting, who will be the person or the angel who will be able to come and help us out. So which is the company which is going to come and help us out, who is going to take our company and merge with them, and thereby we can again stand up in the market with the long-term contract. So in this case, you can find the corporation or the companies may be able to reduce the scope of some of its functional activities and thereby such as marketing, thus reducing cost significantly. So that is what it says. When an angel comes here and helps you out, then automatically you can find the biggest miracle taking place in your organization. Thereby it is having large customers, you will be getting large customers, and also guaranteeing the company's continued existence. So you will guarantee that company will be existing and with a long-term contract with another company, right? So this is the time where the corporation is able to, that is the company is able to reduce the scope of its growth or the functional activities, some of the functional activities, and you can see the marketing is one of those where it reduces the cost significantly. So what are the important aspects regarding marketing? So that has to be undertaken here, and you can see here it reduces the cost significantly more interestingly. The third one is sellout or disinvestment strategy. So sellout means selling out a company because you are not able to cope up and no one is there to help you, no angel will be there. And disinvestment means taking out the investment from the company where you have invested because you are not able to continue your business. So if the company or organization is very in a weak position where the competitive positions are very high and it is not able to cope up with that, then it has to either pull out means come out from that organization itself, or by bootstraps, or to find a customer who can become a captive company, or you need to find out the customer who can become angel or a person where it can become a captive company and it may have no choice to sell it out. So this is the condition where organization or a company is undergoing. So in the sellout strategies, what happens, it makes sense of management that still you can obtain some good price for its shareholders. So here you will be trying to sell out instead of disinvestment. You are going to sell out. Here you can see the management will be trying to see and finding the way to find out some of the people or shareholders who can come and take that particular company, right, and obtain a good price for that company for the shareholders, and this the employees can also keep their jobs and selling the entire company to another firm. So here you are selling the total company. So under sellout strategy, the strategy is helping or directing the management that to sell the whole company to another company, whereby you can see that the shareholders are also happy and the employees also can be having their job. So job security will be there. They will not be taken away because if another company takes over, but still there will be a good jobs, as well as the jobs will be continued for the people who are working there, and the shareholders will be happy because of the investment part, as well as total entire company will be sold out to another company under this strategy called as the sellout strategy. And we have bankruptcy or liquidation strategy. This is also one of the strategy under retreatment strategies. It says the company finds itself in a worse position. So when a company is under worse, bankruptcy means nothing, no paisa in the pocket, right? No paisa in the account. And liquidation means it is selling out. So it is a worse position or possible situation with the poor competitive position. So bankruptcy or liquidation strategy is nothing but it is a strategy where the company itself is in a very worse position, very weak performance or poorest performance, and with poorest competitive position, where the few prospects management has only alternatives, that is disastrous. So here the company is totally out of order. So because no one is interested in buying the weak company, will anyone buy the weak company? No one will be interested because nothing is there. So it is totally merged or synced, we say. So no one is interested, no party or no angel will come to protect you, and no company will come forward to purchase your company or the organization. So which company is very much weak and it is not an attractive, it is a very unattractive industry in the whole market. So here whatever the firm tries to pursue the bankruptcy or liquidation strategy. So here under this condition, it is a total collapse, we can say. So under this total collapse, the company will be in the total bankruptcy or else under liquidation strategy it follows. So liquidation, the termination of the firm. Liquidation means termination. You are going to terminate your firm totally. Why? Because the industry is not an attractive one, right? And the company is also very weak in a position, and it will not be able to compete with other competitors, and you don't have so much of investment, so much of financial resources, right? And even the company is too weak to be sold because you are not able to sell it. It has become so weak that no one is able to purchase it, and you cannot sell it. And it is, as is the going concern, the management may choose to convert many of the sellable asset as possible in form of cash. So when you are not able to do all these things, the management thinks about selling whatever the assets are there in that particular business and taking the cash, right, in the form of cash, and which is then distributed to the shareholders as well as obligation which has to be paid. So whatever the assets are there in the organization, they are going to sell it out and take the cash, and with that cash they are going to pay the shareholders, because it is a part of the company to pay share, because they are the investors of that particular company. So they need to get back their returns on it. Whatever the amount they get, they are going to sell it out, and they're going to take that amount and give it to the, or pay it to the shareholders, because as a part of an obligation. So every small business and partnership firms liquidate when one or more partners want to come out of the business or withdraw from the business. So here liquidations can be done in different ways, students. It says we have voluntary winding up, right, and compulsory winding up under supervision of the court. Then liquidation can be done, that is voluntary winding up under supervision of the court. So here this can be done, that is under the supervision of the court, and here without doing it. This compulsory winding up, this is voluntary winding up. Again I'll repeat, liquidation can be done in the following ways. One is voluntary winding up, second is compulsory winding up under supervision of the court, and third is voluntary winding up under supervision of the court. So these are the three important liquidation types where the liquidation of a company can be done. So, and you can, there is a note you can see here, the benefit of liquidation. What is the benefit of the liquidation? If you terminate or liquidate your company, what is your benefit? It says over bankruptcy is that board of directors or representative of shareholders together with top management makes a decision, that is, instead of turning them over the courts, which may choose to ignore the shareholders completely. So that is very much important and part of liquidation. Now coming to the last part, that is combination strategies. Combination means the stability, growth and retreatment strategies is adopted by any organization. That's what we say. Combination means all the three, that is stability, growth and retreatment. All these three is combined together, is adopted by an organization or any of the companies, where it says either at the same time in its different business or at different times in the same business with the aim to improving the performance. So why this combination strategy has been taken? Because in order to see that the is adopted either at the same time of the different business, at the same time of various different businesses, or at different times of the same business. Why they are doing this? Because the main aim is to improve the performance of the organization. That is why we have this combination strategies. Example, you can see here, it is very much feasible for an organization to follow retreatment strategies, because for a short period of time due to general economic conditions, and then pursue the growth strategy once the economy strengthens. So here, depending upon the time and depending upon the business, you need to pause some time, have a break, then again come back when the economic conditions are favorable. Then you start with your growth and expansion. That is what it says under this corporate, that is combination strategies. So here you can see the different various modes of combination strategies. First one is that retrench, then stability. So means stop, then you have to be stable. Retrench means you think about disinvestment or be stable. Here retrench, then growth. Think about retrenchment, that is selling out or disinvestment, whatever it is, and then if you want you can grow. Then stability and retrench. So be stable, then come out. Then stability, then growth. So be stable, then think about expansion. Growth, then retrench. So there is a growth, but you need to come out. Then growth and stability. So growth is there, and also you have to maintain stability at the time of sometimes, that is when your company is in that position. So these are the reasons why combination strategies are being adopted. we have rapid environment change, that is liquidate one unit, develop another. So when you liquidate one unit, then you get a chance to develop the another industry or the firm. Then involves both disinvestment and acquisition takeover. So under this it says both, it involves both disinvestment, taking that is investment in both the sides, as well as acquiring, taking over of another companies. So this kind of strategies, rapid environment change strategy, is commonly followed by any of the organizations, most of the organizations, because it says with multiple diversified products and national or global markets where they are involved, and in which a single strategy does not be able to fit into the business lines, right, of a particular line of. Students, these are the various topics which I explained to you today. I'll just give you the highlights or the summary of this. So I explained to you about the stability, that is continuing the current activities as it is. Then under this we have the pause, you have to wait or rest, take some time, or move little bit with cautious. Then no change strategy, nothing you are not going to change here. You are going to follow the same current operation and the policies, everything will be same here, right? And profit strategy, you are going to think about profit strategy where you need to reduce your investments and short-term discretionary expenditures should be removed. Under retreatment strategies, I told you, because when there is a weak competition position and the product lines are resulting in poor performance or sales is down and profits are becoming very, losses are there, and due to this there is a lot of pressure to improve the performance. So under that we have turnaround strategy. So it says you need to improve your operational efficiency. And the contraction, it is the initial effort, that is stop the bleeding, where you can cut down your sizes of your position as well as cut short all the unwanted cost. Then consolidated, it says implementing of programs, that is to stabilize capital strategies, giving up the independence freedom in order for exchange of security. Then management, it says larger customers you can get in order to guarantee the companies continue existing with long-term contract. Sell out disinvestment, that is when your company is under weak position, you need to sell it out or disinvestment can be made. Bankruptcy or liquidation, so poor competitive position as well as worst possible situation, and thereby the company, what they do, they follow different prospects where the alternatives will be in front of them and it is very disastrous. Liquidation, it is termination of the firm, and we can see this can happen only when there is a lot of we call it as totally it is out of order. And liquidation can be done three types: voluntary winding up, compulsory winding up the supervision of the court, and voluntary winding up the supervision of the court. Then combining strategies, that is for stability, growth and retrenchment. So it can be taken at either same time of the same business or different business are at same time or different times. So here we can see retrench, then stability, retrench, then growth, stability and retrench, then stability, then growth, growth and retrench, then growth and stability. And rapid environment change, liquidate one unit, develop the other unit, involves both disinvestment from the companies and acquisition. So these are the topics which I had covered to you students in today's session. Hope you understood. So until the next session, please go through all the topics we have covered to you. Just glimpse or take the highlights which I explained to you and see that it will be more helpful for your examination point of view. So see you in the next class. Until then, take care. Have a nice day. Thank you, students.